Okay, Sunday, December 7th, 2014. Sarasota, Florida. I'm just going to jump in. I have to stop resisting. And I know the thing that I'm resisting, well, it's not that it's the money. Of course it's the money. We know that that's the most powerful part of the story that we are living right now. We know that. Wow. I know it's the energy of money. My everything pertaining to that right now is the area that is causing me to hold back, that I'm resisting. I'm not embracing, I'm not fully accepting, I'm not able to act right now from a certain level, at a certain level. I must be holding on to a belief that I haven't yet uncovered, or I'm just not willing to see yet, that is preventing me from acting in my life every day right now the way I know I need to do in order for, these words, God, the words. I know that I've got all the pieces in place right now to tell a story, to tell a very different story than what I'm telling. Every day that I've been getting up, and it still changes every day. My story changes every day, leaps and bounds beyond any noticeable magnitude of change that I had in my life for my entire adulthood until just 4 years ago. So all to say, I had such a low level of awareness within that I really had forgotten that really every second we are a completely different person. Really, when you get down to the absolute science of it, every millisecond is technically, think of it like the way we see a movie across at the screen. It looks like it's continually in motion, but really it's just frame by frame by frame. Same with when a cartoon artist little book where they draw something on one page and then the next page it's slightly different, and when you shuffle all the pages or put your finger or your thumb to it and let the pages flow, it appears as if the images are moving. But really, it's just frame by frame by frame by frame, and each frame is slightly different. That is what our life is. And I know this, and I'm aware of this now. Beforehand, though, and often it appears as if that's not the case. It appears to be seamless because we're so asleep as a whole, as a consciousness, as a species still. As a whole, we're still so asleep that it appears to be continuous because we really aren't changing our lives anywhere near to the extent that they could be flexible within any given day. We've almost lost that completely. We're so regimented for the most part. We're still, again, mainstream. I'm not talking all individuals. I'm talking because there's quickly building a momentum and a movement of individuals who are awakening that this doesn't need to be that way. We don't need to restrict ourselves to this concept of 40-hour work weeks, which inherent in itself builds in so much routine and regularity that completely blocks the most powerful creative force, which is synchronicity. And allowing things to happen without planning them, without controlling them. And you don't have as much room for that when you've got a regimented life that never stops, no downtime. It's go, 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 go. You're not even really interacting with your life as you live in this manner. And this is me speaking from my own personal transformation experience. I was always going. And to what? I didn't know. Because any plan I had certainly was putting the horse before the cart before the horse. I didn't have any, I was just going really for the sake of going. Running from something, I felt like something was chasing me, but, it's just, this is such an entirely different way of engaging in the world. Is having this awareness of how much we can change at any given moment. So right now my life changes a great deal still every day, but it's a lot less than it was a year and a half ago when I was arguably in my own life at my happiest point. Like I was happiest, like the greatest joy yet I've experienced in life, knowing that because it was just getting happier by the day, which didn't even make sense. Was when I had the greatest amount of debt, when I was the most single I had ever been, when I was the most alone and solitary I had ever been, when I was most disconnected from pretty much everybody in my life, including some of the people that had been the closest in my life for a very long time, which had a very unique growing pain associated with it. It was at this time, approximately a year and a half ago, that I was the absolute happiest I'd ever been. Because of the lens with which I was seeing and defining my life. I was refusing to accept the way others on the outside were defining my situation, and I was defining it on my own. But truth be told, for me to maintain that to others, what to others seemed, I know, delusional and crazy, I had to literally physically isolate. Like I was for the better part of 4 months, I didn't leave my home. I was barely outside for the better part, because it was during the summer months in Florida, and it's miserable. I mean, it's miserable. Think about the peak of winter. If you're a northern state or a colder climate living person, you're not add up the total amount of time you're outside in the winter versus summers. It's pretty stark. Same with here in Florida for me during the summer. I freaking hate it, to be honest. And but I, wasn't perceiving myself to have the option to leave here for the past couple of summers, and so I've had to make do. And 2 summers ago, not this most recent summer, but the summer before that, was when I not accidentally hit the absolute greatest flow yet of what I label in term my work. And resulting in the most, I can't tell you how little I interacted with anybody directly, but yet indirectly, I was interacting with the world in this brand new way via my website and via my YouTube channel, and then via my own energy in my own home and the safety and the protection of my own home, and finally giving myself the permission and the permission to let my spirit go, let myself find, like I had gifted myself the space and the time through the only resource that I had, which was my personal, what was tremendous credit. I invested in me in a way that I had never even come close to investing in myself, and gifting myself and treating myself well and telling myself I deserved the opportunity that I was giving myself, essentially following an energy and intuition, a vision, a light that I couldn't not follow, and experience pure bliss. Now since then, the 2 greatest things that I've had to tackle, for which I have no previous experience to relate it, meaning it's like I've been flying blind, knowing that I did not want to, I'm long beyond, contrary to what people would think, given that I'm publicly sharing this story, albeit not in large segments of recent months, but still sharing what seems to be highly personal and goes again. I'm not sharing, like, it is so controlled. My sharing is, I am, the judgment with which the discernment, the level of discernment has grown so much since I began this part of my journey 2 years ago, that I used to know fewer than probably 24 people in my life at any given time I was speaking to regularly and knew everything pretty much going on. And in my head, there's always so much going on. And people know how much I talk, how much I share, how many ideas I have. I don't think many people have ever really taken me seriously or believed how serious I was about these things going on inside in my world, if you will. But just all to say, I was sharing a lot and I was doing it through talking, and I wasn't acting. I was unknowingly seeking a sort of permission or validation for how strongly I believed in what I was talking about, in the ideas, in this, and always having to do with what I perceive to be the betterment of the world around us, and helping others and making a better world, creating a better world. And I always sort of held back with to what extent, but people could feel it. People can feel how passionate I am when I talk pretty much about anything. When I engage in pretty much anything, they feel the energy and the passion with which I come at life. But I've always held back at these extreme visions and beliefs of what's possible and what's already quote unquote real. Like things that I feel to my core as real and true are not observable to so many others, and thus it's such a wow. And I've never had the self-confidence and the self-worth and the self-love and the self-value in myself to even energetically stand up in those beliefs. It doesn't mean you have to speak your beliefs to everybody, because believe me, have I learned that lesson the hard way. You know, when you speak things to people that aren't ready, and it's not that nobody's better or worse or trying to hurt, in most cases, trying to hurt or, disrespect you or it just is. And if you speak things that other people aren't ready for, that they disagree, you're inviting such an energy that you don't need to battle. It's better just to keep it to yourself and know when to speak and what to speak of for the betterment of yourself, for just making it easier to go through your day, because your energy is not having to sort of ignore a very intense judging energy or a very intense negative vibed energy kind of being directed at you. It's just kind of rising above in your beliefs. And I didn't have that ability at all. So I wasn't even allowing myself to energetically stand up for myself, within myself. And that is what has shifted. That is what has shifted. And since we are energy, since all we are is a vibration, vibrations and frequencies, if something like that changes within, you better believe your vibe that you're putting out changes. People are going to feel, people that have known you at one frequency, if they experience you with that sort of change, they're going to feel something different. Regardless if you say anything. And you've got to leave room for adjustments for those sorts of changes. Again, back to changing. We don't have that built in. We don't even have this awareness of this exchange that's going on between all of us in all of our relationships. We don't account for, we don't allow for taking the new information and integrating our freaking life experiences. And what the fuck else are we here for if we're not here to integrate what we're fucking experiencing every day? Oh, and I know I'm going off on tangents. Let me try to bring it all the way back to, I'm resisting. I'm making my life harder because I'm telling my story in a way that I know better. I know it's all about how we tell our story. What you focus on. What of the infinite things you can point out or highlight in your world. Whether you're talking about describing the setting in which you're presently living, whether you're talking about describing the characteristics of your present work, whether you're talking about the energy exchanges and emotions and experiences had with all the relationships that are most prevalent in your life. Infinite. It's infinite. What you can pick out, what you can focus on, and what you can combine. It's a choose your own adventure book. All of our lives are a choose your own adventure book. And when you engage with other people in any way, you're part of their story. They're part of your story. And you've got sort of there's an agreement there that takes place, an unstated, unsigned agreement. And in most cases, unknown. But there is, I'm agreeing to treat you this way, you're agreeing to play this role that's causing me to treat you. We're agreeing to these things. And as you become more aware of this, you get to decide, do I still want to agree to be in any relationship, including ultimately the relationship that you have with the world around you? Jumping all the way to that, I have finally been remembered all that I need is within, remembered my personal power in creating my own reality, and remembered I don't have to force myself any longer to try to fit in to a world I've never understood. It's always seemed fake. It's always seemed like a lie. It's always been full of irony and hypocrisy. I never saw anybody do what they actually said. It was illogical. I've never got this world, this mainstream world that I was born into, that I was taught about in my schools, that I was exposed to via my parents' beliefs and the way they interacted in the world and the way their parents interacted in the world. It never made sense to me. And I vowed to get out of it at a conscious level when I was 7. I knew. But at that age, all I could see, the only way out was through the money. All right, well, I can already see how this game works. You get out, you get more control of your world when you've got money. I didn't like it, but I already knew, I already knew how many gifts I had in this world simply by recognizing money it was highly correlated with intelligence and achievement. Intelligence and achievement was correlated with A's in school, and I already saw how I had all the skill sets that anybody, all the people that, it was these are essentials. I had these essentials that so many others didn't have. And you become aware of that when you're born into a city like Detroit, and you have an amazingly aware, particularly my father, who was consistently and constantly pointing out how lucky we were, in the sense by virtue of how unlucky so many surrounding us were. How they didn't have anywhere near the opportunity and skill sets. We had a higher responsibility and a higher obligation. I've been trying to integrate that my entire life into this world, and it was a struggle until 4 years ago, when I was reminded of what I've always known. Nothing is happening accidentally. There are no coincidences. We are crossing paths with people for very, very big reasons if we slow down and talk to one another and be with one another and learn to understand and get to know one another and truly trust one another and connect with one another. But that takes time. It takes time. And everything, there's balance. Oh, fuck, I'm all over the fucking place. Oh, God, I can't flow right, because inside right now, my everything is screaming, go to work, go to work, go to work. You're in debt, you got to pay this, you don't have any breathing room, which I don't have any breathing room. None. In fact, I've got no breathing room. I've got to work at the I don't have any flexibility that I created for myself for over a year. I was in complete control over my schedule, my time, my work, my creativity, and it was amazing. How is it the irony that I was facing almost $100,000 debt, but I had it sum up by some miracle. I was able, because it was all on these 0% cards, and because it was in the future, and because I so believed in the energy of focusing on, I so believed, and I still do. This obviously was supposed to play out this way. I wasn't supposed to attract my work taking off or the finances to make it so I didn't have to do this. And what is this? This is working for somebody else 40, plus hours a week, in this case at a job that is energetically the most draining job. Well, teaching was more energetic. Nothing has capped the energy requirement in expenditure on how many levels as my 2 years of teaching the sixth graders in Plant City. But the farm is right up there. It is literally physical work, but the energy present on that farm is on so many levels, is so deep, is intellectual, emotional, mental, spiritual. Oh my God. You've got the plant energy. You've got it's so intense for me. It is so intense. And it's where my story started. It's where this segment of my story began. In that, fuzzy kind of, there is no real starting point or end point to anything. It's all gray. But my personal awakening began when I moved here the first time in June of 2008, and I began work on that farm a couple of months later, in September of 2008. That is where my entire world view was turned upside down. And I was made aware of things I, honest to God, had no awareness of. And see, what most of my farm colleagues don't get. I was one of those people that I was one of those mainstream people, man. I didn't have a clue. I can always fit in because I'm malleable, because I just enjoy living. I've always just enjoyed living, so I can get into a situation, feel the energy, frequency, observe the things, whether it's what's being talked about, the energy with which it's being talked about, even the tone of voice and words, and like I can just meld that part of myself. And it's a beautiful thing because it doesn't affect me and I'm not lying about who I am. I'm just customizing, kind of melding myself for the greatest, group experience, if you will. But I really don't belong. I don't feel like I belong in any of these places where I do this. And now I'm wondering, am I lying to myself by doing that my whole life? For the greater comfort of everybody else, I've adjusted myself, my truth. But see, now I understand it's not about saying anything. It's just about being. When I'm in when I'm in a world where nobody has a choice, really. I'm in a world of work right there where I'm being paid to do a job. And those folks that I work with, they shouldn't have to be made to feel any more. I mean, truly. Like that's not the place where I want to share my creative process, where I want to share my work, yet that's all that's on my mind. That's all I want to talk and think about. So that means I don't really want to go there and talk. I want to go there and be with the plants and be with the energy. And it's a hard place to do that because I'm going all over. I don't belong. Like I'm a lot of times when things are being said, there's still some us versus them. There's a lot of us versus them energy at the farm. There's a lot of it. And that's part of the reason why it's so challenging for me and draining for me, because I don't believe in that and I don't want to believe in that. And I don't want to have to, it takes a lot of energy for me to not go there, but I know it's not worth going there. I mean, every once in a while I'll bring it up. Every once in a while I'll be sure to point out again how my experience at Microsoft was the best working experience of my life, of working for somebody else. The best working experience of my life. But amazing at that company based on the people I interacted with, but more importantly, the energy there. The energy and what it encouraged. Because more than anything, there is an energy of greatness present in that company. And of course there is. Look at the level of greatness of Bill Gates. I don't care how you label what he's done or how he's done it. The magnitude of what the man has achieved is on a level in a league of its own. And as such, his company is going to have that energy. And I am not going to apologize for wanting to experience and be my greatness. I'm not doing that any longer. And because everybody else has sold out on that. No one else, but because the majority of us have forgotten about dreams, have forgotten that we get to make it up, have resolved ourselves to this victim status, We're victims of a system run amok. We're victims of the corporations. We're victims of all the people with the money and the power and the influence. Bullshit. We are not victims. I'm not fucking playing that victim role anymore. I'm not going to apologize for wanting to get to my own, for me living my life every day for me. Are you serious? Look how backwards that is. Look how backwards that is. Look how much of our power in our lives we've given away to something outside of us. We've been made to feel like we have to apologize because I want to get up every day and do what I want to do and not what somebody else wants me to do. But you got to remember, you're choosing to play the game. If you don't want to play that game, then don't play it. Understand what's still essential in that game, though. You got to still pay your bills. And in many cases, now there are many increasing opportunities to barter and exchange, which is brilliant and exactly how it should be done. You still have to have money in this game, and that's okay. Change your relationship with money and watch everything change. Change your relationship with money. It's not evil. It's not horrible. It just is. It's just energy. Because I'm telling you, through this journey, I used to think that was the most valuable resource. It's time. I can't wait to have my time back to me, where I'm not feeling this tremendous energy of guilt inside of me because I'm not at the farm right now. And why do I have that freedom? Because the farm doesn't really have a schedule, but as became clear in recent weeks, there sort of is an expectation. So one of the main reasons that I loved being there was the freedom and flexibility that it supposedly gave, but it's really not that flexible. It's kind of like when they give you flex time at work. It's not really flex time. You're still pretty much expected to be there between 8 and 5. That's exactly what, and there's nothing worse than, in my opinion, something like that, an energy of something like that. When you're saying something, but it's really not that. And most of our world is like that. The people and things and rules and aren't really what they state, right? And I just want stuff that's real. Because if it was really that way, then I wouldn't even be feeling this, but it's not that way. But because we can't communicate, we have trouble communicating. So few adults, I see communicate, like really communicate. And I'm not talking about communicating when things are good. That's the easy part. And even that, I know some people struggle with. I'm talking about communicating when things are, quote unquote, uncomfortable or bad or negative. When there's a mismatch, crisscross. That's the true test of an the emotional development of somebody. How do they interact with somebody when they're upset? When something isn't feeling right, or how one or both parties prefer, and you try to address it like adults and communicate about it and remove the emotion and just kind of get, grow from it, expand from it, learn to understand the other person and their perspective a little bit better by listening and trying to put yourself in their shoes to understand why they're feeling something a particular way. And that isn't something that's handled very particularly well really anywhere. Anywhere that it's even handled well, it's only because there's labels and titles to hide behind. It's your boss giving you the news, so they're allowed to say that. You wouldn't, if in an all equal, everybody on equal playing field, which is really how it is, then it's a lot more challenging to hear a criticism or to hear somebody kind of from this perception of being higher and better than you give you criticism, because very rarely is that a two-way street. You're not allowed to give the same level of free feedback back to the superior because they've already proven they're better than you, right? No, bullshit. Again, contrary to the greater truth. That's not how it is. There is no better than. We're all unique, we're all different, but we are all connected to the same infinite energy. And it expresses differently in each of us individually. We as a society and a collective have defined that there are more valuable ways or preferred ways or better ways to be in this world. And that is not true. I try to label things as either from love or from fear, period. And it's either balanced or unbalanced. What is it, balanced or unbalanced? That depends on what the factors you're looking at. That's how I try. It's not better than, Okay, the farm crowd folks, man, there's such an energy of they're doing the right thing, and all these rich people spending all this money on material stuff are doing the wrong thing. And again, my parts of my opinion is different than what I sort of know. My opinion, I can still have an opinion on something, even if I don't. What's the way I'm trying to describe it? I see their point. And when I was in a more judgmental, us versus them, limiting energy, I was on their side. But I don't believe in that shit anymore. There are no sides. It's just what somebody else values. I know that the physical isn't what the essence is. That it's not really a need. We don't need anything outside of ourselves. It's a want. And if people want to spend their money in that way, that's their choice. Does it happen to be, are the things that these people are buying and doing with their money happen to be in imbalance with the earth? Absolutely. Is that going to cause our species some interest? Yes. Some problems, some perceived? Yes. Yes. This is a living system we live in. This is our home. It will balance itself out. And we are a species. We think we're greater than the bugs and the animals and the plants, but we're just a species. So what will happen? What will happen with our species as a result of this tremendous imbalance of the planet? But to think and believe that you have an energy of being better than somebody is not the one love energy. That is still separation, and that is still judgment, and that is not unconditional love. That is an energy that is very prevalent at my current place, my primary place of employment. I have lots of sources of income now. That's part of the work that I'm trying to do, is to have our eggs in many baskets, utilizing many of our skills and many of our connections in all these different beautiful ways, and therefore not falling into that mundane, boring, same routine bullshit that just limits our spirits of our mainstream world, that pattern of our mainstream world. But my main source of income, my dream right now, what I wish I was able to make my ends meet, my relatively minimal bills relative to an American of my age, and with my relatively minimal bills with my own work. That'd be my dream, but I'm not there yet. So I still have to earn money and work for others. So now I get to be and want to be, and I have the awareness to be able to be much more selective about where I'm giving my valuable energy. My physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy that comes with me. It's a full package. What an employer is getting from me when I'm, working for them. And what I'm getting from them. Because there are costs and benefits to interacting out in the world with everything. It's not a judgment, it's a personal value. It's a personal thing that you have to evaluate within yourself. Certain things based on your personality and where you're at on your journey feel good to you right now, and certain things are triggering shit that needs to be resolved still. So everything's in balance and everything, so ultimately it's all good. Even what we label as bad is good. But it's all an energy exchange. We've just built a world focused only on the money exchange, and we've forgotten all the other sorts of energy exchanges that are going on. And I am taking into consideration way more than the monetary energy. However, what prompted the beginning of this recording is my monetary situation is such where I don't have any breathing room. I perceive unless I want to do what I don't want to do. I do not want to. I have busted my ass. I have crawled many tens of grands out of debt in the past year, like miraculous levels. The light is at the end of the tunnel. But that financial pressure and wanting to maintain the energy of it, there is a practical level of freedom when you live within your means. Now, some people are able to handle massive levels of debt, and they don't care, and they don't feel responsible, and they don't care if they're going to claim, they don't care, and that's fine. If that works for God, I'm glad. I don't wish struggle upon anybody. Because if you know that we're all connected, wishing struggle or unhappiness on anybody outside of you is just the same as wishing it upon yourself. It's the other moronic thing that I just can't deal with, like, for much longer on this level. Like, I've got to figure out how to not resist so I can get off of that, because that makes no sense to me. It's in all of our best interest for everybody to be living their dream life. I'm not going to be envious and jealous and pissed off that somebody I love and care about has a happy life just because I haven't figured it out yet. That's fucking selfish as bullshit. Selfish. Selfish. How can you do that? You should wish the best for your loved ones. Drop all the fucking drama. Like, that energy is for real. Having the support of your loved ones and being the support to your loved ones is everything. Stop judging them. Stop giving them a hard time, and they'll stop doing it to you, and you'll feel so much better, and you really don't even need to exchange a word. Whoever you're upset with or frustrated, they get you more than you think. It's your fucking family. And you don't want to hear this, but you chose them. We all chose these experiences. Come on. Wake up. We came here for a reason. We're making this way harder than we need to make it. I'm speaking to myself. Write the story differently. Alyson, you don't have a set schedule. It is up to them to talk to you if they don't like you taking advantage of what is offered there. There is no set schedule. If you don't want to go in today, you don't have to let anybody know, and you don't have to go in. Stop feeling guilty about it. Do it and stand tall in it, or just go in. Why don't I want to go in? Because I am left with so little in my tank when I come home every day from this place, and then I practically need both days off to recover because of, again, and I'm constantly calculating the money. I'm going to make this much per paycheck. I mean, basically for the whole season, I needed to average 40 to 45 hours a week. We don't get overtime. We don't get sick days. We don't get days off. We don't it's up to all of us to make that. And we close down for the summer. So that is just to get me to the summer. I don't even have my summer worked out yet. It's hard. So, and I'm no worry about money. I know my resistance is because I'm worrying about money. Don't worry about money. You are paying $1,000 towards your debt every single month. On top of that, every time you get a small project or something going on where you earn extra money, you're putting it towards this debt. The light is at the end of the tunnel. When you get done with this company and only have the personal, and the personal debt's not small. The personal debt that I owe, the money part, the money personal debt that I owe, most of it, a good chunk of it, is to one person. It's not small, but having the pressure of this company, this because again, the creditors are calling any given time. I could get something in the mailbox about a lawsuit. I'm down to 3 accounts, 3 of 7. 3 accounts, and 2 of them are with the same company. I'm there. I'm right there. I am right there. I have to stop worrying about money. And I'm not worrying about it like I could care less that I don't. I'm fine that I don't have health insurance. I'm fine that I don't have a penny for retirement or down the line. I'm fine, actually, that I'm fine. I really am. I mean, I wish I had more breathing room because I'm not fine, right? Because if I was fine, I wouldn't be freaking out here. And I'm not really freaking out. Not freaking out nearly as much as most people would be freaking out. I'm fine. I've made it through the thick of this. This is an incredible fucking story. And when I do have the time to sit and flow and really have control of my schedule again, this is an amazing story. It's amazing. It's a powerful story. And I just got to trust myself to take the time on days like this where I just want to stay here. I don't want to go to work. I just want to give I want my life. I want to give to me. I want to give to me. Because part of the reason I'm busting my ass is because I gave away $50,000. And I don't regret it. I swear I don't. I don't regret it. The lesson, though, has learned that I made this so much harder. I'm now paying. I'm basically, to keep myself afloat, I'm paying the debt of gifts I gave. Is what, and it's, I just wish I had it with more of a balanced time. I wish there wasn't a timeline on it so that I could just relax into the work. I know I'm never going to I'm going to pay back every penny, including to the credit card companies for the amounts that I've been forgiven. I am going to pay back, not directly to them, but I will pay somebody else's credit card debt to each of the companies in the total amount that I was forgiven, to keep the energy of this, to keep the intent. I do that. I don't know if that's going to be, it's probably not going to be in the next couple of years, but within 5 years for sure, I will pay those companies back. I wish I could be more balanced with all that I have in my world right now, and allow myself, this is what started it, allow myself to trust and act in the way that I know. If I follow my greatest joy, which is not going to the farm every day. Do I enjoy going to the farm? Yes. Do I enjoy feeling like I have to go there every day? No. It takes away the magic. It's no. Do I end up having an okay day most days? Well, yes. But it's draining me because I'm resisting something on that deep of a level. I am resisting going there. I'm fighting it to such an extent. And I don't know what combination of things. That's what I'm trying to talk through. What is it that I'm resisting? Why am I making this? Because if I tell the story, I'm working out every day. I'm in the sun every day. I mean, I'm not really working out. It's not cardiovascular. That's part of the stress of it, is that it's physical in a way where I don't really feel like I'm getting the type of physical enjoyment that my body, like the cardiovascular, the really getting my heart rate up. Like, I'm physical, but not in a way that I desire, and I'm really drained as a result of it. And again, just because of resistance, but it's physical. I'm outside. I'm with people of parts of like-minded, right? I mean, the truth is, there aren't many people who have this extreme way of seeing the world and interacting, and these extreme views about money and work. And I mean, I can't even begin. Again, there's no words, right? I just have to keep living it and showing it with my example. That's the only way. I don't want to talk about it with anybody. I don't want to talk about it with anybody who's not already aware of it. That's just it. Because I'm not trying to debate anybody. I'm not trying to convince or prove to any. I'm not trying to be better than anybody. I just want to talk to people and be with people who are living and trying to live this way, this remembrance that we can do anything, that the greatness within, that we should be supporting one another, that the full trust, like the love, like that's what I want to be around as much as possible all the time, because I know how powerful that is. And I don't know any scenario that feeds that more than me being in my own energy in my own home and working towards my further development of my projects, my ideas, my books, my connections, i.e. discussions and time and communication with those in my life who do speak this language, because I am fortunate enough to have more than a couple, and most of them are women, and the men, just amazing. And that is so much more enjoyable and, in my opinion, productive and valuable in terms of the overall net energy I'm putting out in the world when I engage that way, versus when I go make my hourly wage, which is very, very good for what I get paid to do. And when you don't have any other work, what I am getting paid per hour right now is way more than zero. I mean, it's way less than what I think energetically I can earn doing my stuff, right? But energy doesn't pay the fucking bills, right? Money fucking pays the bills still. So I've just got to find a better balance with this, because, and I think that's it. I need to let myself, this is a test for me to stay home today. And I'm only going to get 2 hours or 33 hours instead of 40 hours this week. And actually the goal was 41 and a half hours. And but I also know, I've got a week coming up where I don't have any days off. because I've got to work a race. Like, again, but see, these are the rules I'm putting on myself. I've got to ease up on myself. Listen to your guide, man. Listen to your lifeguard. Listen to him. Ease up on yourself. Stop. You've got a lot on your plate. You're doing this almost entirely on your own. You're doing things that are super courageous. You're doing things that very few else most would have thrown in the bankruptcy towel long ago, and I am not throwing it in now. No way. This is like giving up on a marathon at mile 25. I got 1.2 miles left after 25. I'm not fucking stopping now. No way. No way. I did it. And I am going to get through it with maintaining 3 credit cards still. And not just so I'm going to run them back up again, but that's the discipline. I've got the evidence to show I am remarkably disciplined with the finance, with money, with this particular aspect, energetic aspect, manifestation of money. I need to be as efficient with the rest of it as I am with the money. I need to let go. I drew the Lakshmi card last night. That's not accidental. Lakshmi, Hindu goddess of prosperity, abundance. Stop worrying about money, the card said. Stop worrying about money. I would love to stop worrying about money. But if I don't work 40 hours a week on the farm, at least one race, a 2-day work race a month, I'm not paying the bare minimum of my bills, which includes a $1,000 debt payment. And a rent that is currently, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to give to myself today. I'm not going to feel guilty about not going into the farm, getting food for Kathy to spread down the street. I'm not going to feel guilty. I got to take care of myself, and I'm not taking care of myself. I got to be able to take advantage of all these energies that are surrounding us, these very powerful shifting energies in our world. I'm aware of it, and I want to take advantage of it, but if I don't break these unhealthy patterns, I'm not going to be able to do it. And this is like that video that Bashar yesterday about some lady knowing when she's missing the opportunity. I mean, I know another opportunity will come, but I don't want to miss this one. Oh, man. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks. Have a great day.